There's a reason you keep avoiding your finances. And it has nothing to do with discipline. It shows up in small moments. Your phone buzzes, a bank notification, and instead of opening it, you just turn it over. You tell yourself, I'll check everything this weekend. And then the weekend comes, and somehow everything else feels easier to do. The app stays unopened. The numbers stay unknown. And life just continues. If you've ever done that, honestly done that, I want you to hear this clearly. You are not lazy. You are not irresponsible. And you are definitely not alone. But what's actually happening in those moments is something most people never take the time to understand. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. If this kind of calm, honest conversation about money is something you've been needing, you can subscribe. This is a space where money doesn't feel like pressure, it feels like understanding. Here's where most financial advice gets this completely wrong. They see someone avoiding their finances, and they call it a discipline problem. So they offer solutions like, budget harder, track everything, use this app, try this system. And maybe you try. For a few days, maybe even a week. And then you stop. And when you stop, it doesn't just feel like you failed the system. It feels like you failed yourself. So the next time, you avoid it even more. But here's the part nobody tells you. The avoidance isn't the problem. The avoidance is the signal. And if you keep trying to fix the signal, without understanding what it's pointing to, you stay stuck. Let me show you what this actually looks like. There's someone I'll call Amara. Every time her phone buzzed with a bank alert, she already knew what it was. And every time, she did the same thing. She flipped the phone over. Not dramatically. Not consciously. Just quietly. Like it didn't matter. But it did. Because later that night, she would feel it. That low, quiet anxiety. Not panic. Not urgency. Just a lingering thought in the background. I should check. But she wouldn't. Because checking meant confirming something. And confirming something meant feeling something. So instead, she scrolled. Watched something. Ordered food. Anything but that. And the strange part? From the outside, nothing looked wrong. She was working. Earning. Functioning. But internally, she was avoiding a number that had slowly started to feel like a judgment. So what is this really? Why does something as simple as checking your finances feel this heavy? It starts in the body. Think about the last time you felt real financial anxiety. Not just stress, but that tight, uncomfortable feeling. That's your nervous system, responding to a perceived threat. And for many people, money doesn't feel like a tool. It feels like survival. And this didn't start with you. Most of us were never taught how money actually works. We were exposed to it emotionally, not practically. Maybe it showed up as tension in the house, quiet arguments, stress you weren't meant to understand. Or maybe it wasn't talked about at all. So your brain learned something early. Money equals something heavy, something uncertain, something slightly dangerous. And now, as an adult, every time you try to look at your finances, your brain doesn't treat it like information. It treats it like exposure. The ostrich effect, keep simple. There's a behavioral pattern where people avoid information they expect to be negative. Not because they're careless, but because not knowing feels safer than knowing. So your brain says, if I don't look, I don't have to feel it yet. And for a moment, that works. But the cost is this. The unknown becomes heavier than reality. And then it goes deeper. Because for a lot of people, money stops being just money. It becomes identity. So your balance doesn't just say, this is what you have. It starts to feel like it's saying, this is who you are. And once that happens, avoidance makes sense. Because who willingly sits down to feel judged? And sometimes, it's not just fear. Sometimes it's grief. Maybe things used to be better. Maybe you thought you'd be further by now. And looking at your finances means facing that gap. And that's not a budgeting problem. That's an emotional one. So here's a different way to look at this. What if checking your finances wasn't an act of judgment? What if it was an act of care? If someone you cared about came to you and said, I'm scared to look at my finances, you wouldn't shame them. You wouldn't hand them a spreadsheet. You'd sit with them. You'd say, let's just look. We'll figure it out together. But with yourself, you skip that part. You go straight to blame. And then wonder why you avoid it. The real shift isn't a new system. It's this. The number is not a verdict. It's just information. And information, even uncomfortable information, is something you can work with. Avoidance only makes it heavier. So, let's make this simple. Not overwhelming. Just real. 1. Lower the bar. You don't need a plan today. Just open the app. Look at the number. That's it. No fixing. No judging. Just seeing. 2. Separate looking from solving. You don't have to solve everything immediately. Look today. Decide later. 3. Challenge the story. Notice what you expect to see before you actually look. Most of the time, the fear is worse than the number. 4. Don't do it alone. Talk to one person. Not to compare. Just to be honest. Because silence is where financial shame grows. We live in a world that makes it seem like everyone else has this figured out. But they don't. They're just better at hiding it. The quiet truth is this. A lot of people are doing exactly what you're doing. Avoiding. Delaying. Hoping it somehow feels easier tomorrow. Avoiding your finances doesn't make you a failure. It makes you human. It means no one really showed you how to face money without fear. But that can change. Slowly. Not all at once. Just one honest look at a time. And maybe next time your phone buzzes, instead of turning it over, you just pause and look. If this made you feel even slightly less alone, you can subscribe. This channel isn't about perfect money habits. It's about understanding the life behind them. Take care of yourself. And when you're ready, you can open the app. You'll be okay.